There's something about the end of summer. The days are growing shorter, but the light seems to have a more golden hue. Almost like the sun is trying to muster up all its glory to give us one long last hurrah before the leaves change colors and winter starts its long march into spring. And we're like that too. There comes a certain point in our lives when our memories pile up behind us, like empty beach chairs folded up and put away at the end of the season. And the passing of summer gives us a moment to reflect on the persistence of time, who we were before and who we are now. Poets have written about this, of course. Robert Frost wrote, "Nothing gold can stay," about this time of year, and Dylan Thomas wrote one called "I See the Boys of Summer." It was the Thomas poem that inspired a 1972 book about the heartbreak of Brooklyn Dodgers baseball fans when, a couple of years after winning the World Series in 1955, the team moved across the country to Los Angeles. The book, called The Boys of Summer, traces the lives of the stars of the team in the years afterward, as they got older. The first line of the Dylan poem is, "I see the boys of summer in their ruin," and it became the inspiration for another work of art, the quintessential song about summer's end, The Boys of Summer by Don Henley. It was the lead track from his second solo album, Building the Perfect Beast, released in 1984. 4 years after the Eagles had broken up for the first time after an onstage blowout between Don Felder and Glenn Frey, Henley was well into his solo career. He and ex-girlfriend Stevie Nicks had a hit with a duet of Leather and Lace on her first solo album, Belladonna, which was released in 1981. And his first solo effort, I Can't Stand Still, spawned a hit with Dirty Laundry when it was released in 1982. And when it came time for the follow-up, Henley had a little help from his friends. The entire album is littered with the best in terms of players. To name a few, Steve Porcaro and Jeff Pache of Toto on synthesizers and keyboards. Guitarist Charlie Sexton makes an appearance, and Belinda Carlisle of the Go-Go's, Martha Davis of the Motels, Sam Moore of Sam and Dave, Lindsey Buckingham of Fleetwood Mac, and Patti Smythe all have singing credits on the album, as does songwriter J.D. Souther. Randy Newman stepped in as the synthesizer arranger on Sunset Grill, with an appearance by Benmont Tench of Tom Petty's Heartbreakers on that song and others on the album. And another heartbreaker would make a big impact on this body of work. Guitarist Mike Campbell co-wrote The Boys of Summer with Don Henley. Now, how did Mike Campbell end up writing a song that would be a hit for Henley and not Tom Petty? Well, the simple answer is that Tom Petty rejected it. Campbell had started working with a Linn drum machine to create demos and put together the music for a song he had in mind for Tom Petty to hear and, if he liked it, to write lyrics for. The Linn drum machine was new on the scene. Released in 1982, it utilized sampled drum sounds, which you've heard on lots of hits in the 80s, including Eyes Without a Face by Billy Idol and a-ha's Take On Me. Not exactly the kind of sound you associate with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, much less with Don Henley, who was, after all, the drummer for the Eagles. But it was the early 80s, and the precision of the drum machine sound was becoming an undeniable part of the rock landscape. Campbell put the music together for a demo and played the music for Tom Petty and producer Jimmy Iovine, and was discouraged when they both were underwhelmed with what they heard. Iovine suggested a change to the chords in the chorus to make the demo sound a bit more uplifting, which Campbell did. Little did he know that Iovine had something else in mind for the song, and Campbell was surprised when he suggested that he should try to play it for Don Henley, who was looking for songs for his new solo album. At the time, Petty was preparing songs for the Heartbreakers album Southern Accents, and Campbell, knowing that if Petty liked what he heard, he would have said so. So, he agreed to play the demo for Don Henley, and he did at Henley's house. He left not knowing if anything would happen with it, and was surprised to get a call later from Henley, who told him that he had just written the best song of his life to the demo that Campbell had recorded. Henley's way of approaching lyrics is to put the music in his car and drive around listening to it until the lyrics come to him. It was how he came to the lyrical contributions for the Eagles, and it was how the lyrics for Boys of Summer came to be too. Now by this time, Don Henley was in his mid-30s. His Texas youth was spent in pursuit of success with his first band, Shiloh, moving to Los Angeles under the wing of country superstar Kenny Rogers. The mind-blowing success of the Eagles happened in his 20s. All the ups and downs of being in a group that talented and that driven happening so fast. By his mid-30s, Don Henley had a lot in his rear view, including lost loves and scrapes with the law and with the media. He had dated Bond girl Lois Chiles, but was single when he pled no contest to a shocking arrest in 1980 when an underage girl was found overdosed after a party at his house in Los Angeles. When he wrote his first 2 solo albums, he was with actress Maren Jensen, who was, as you may recall, Lieutenant Athena in the Battlestar Galactica TV show. And, in fact, Building the Perfect Beast was dedicated to her with love and gratitude. At this point in his life, Henley was heading straight to his middle years, with a lot of water under the bridge to reflect on. So, driving around Southern California, he came up with the lyrics to the demo that Mike Campbell had given him. It's a song about the grip of nostalgia that overtakes you when you remember the one that got away. And it also speaks to retaining some dignity when the old enemy of time presents itself, just as the green of youth starts to fade. The Boys of Summer starts like this. Nobody on the road, nobody on the beach. I feel it in the air. The summer's out of reach. Empty lake, empty streets. The sun goes down alone. I'm driving by your house, though I know you're not home. But I can see you, your brown skin shining in the sun. You got your hair combed back and your sunglasses on, baby. And I can tell you my love for you will still be strong after the boys of summer have gone. So, in the song, the sun has gone down on summer and on the relationship that he's singing about. The girl in the song maybe isn't the most faithful, but yet she continues to have romantic control over him. A summer love, here today and gone tomorrow. And it continues. I never will forget those nights. I wonder if it was a dream. Remember how you made me crazy. Remember how I made you scream. Now, I don't understand what happened to our love, but babe, I'm going to get you back. I'm going to show you what I'm made of. I can see you, your brown skin shining in the sun. I see you walking real slow and you're smiling at everyone. And I can tell you my love for you will still be strong after the boys of summer have gone. You can relate this kind of persistence to the other body of work inspired by that Dylan Thomas poem that I mentioned earlier. In the book, The Boys of Summer, author Roger Kahn talks about the awesome highs of the Brooklyn Dodgers when they won the World Series, and the lows felt by fans like him when the move to Los Angeles happened. How true is the love of baseball to a real fan? How great the desire to see your team win, even if it's next year, even if your team has moved across the country. And in the context of this song, how determined might one get to hold on to someone that has slipped away as summer fades? On to the next verse. Out on the road today, I saw a Deadhead sticker on a Cadillac. A little voice inside my head said, don't look back. You can never look back. I thought I knew what love was. What did I know? Those days are gone forever. I should just let 'em go. But I can see you, your brown skin shining in the sun. You got that top pulled down and that radio on, baby. And I can tell you my love for you will still be strong after the boys of summer have gone. Let's talk about that Deadhead sticker, one of the most memorable lines in this song. This part of the song is based on a true story. As Henley told the NME, he was driving on the 405 freeway in Southern California and was passed by a Cadillac Seville, a symbol of upper middle-class wealth. And on the back of that expensive car, a Grateful Dead bumper sticker. It stuck out in his mind as evidence of people of his generation selling out as they got older, embracing the spoils of money while trying to retain some semblance of cool. And in the song, how you might look at something like that with a mild degree of disgust. Kind of how you realize that the most dignified thing that you can do with a lost love is to walk away. One more time with the chorus at the end, and then the song fades. I can see you, your brown skin shining in the sun. You got that hair slicked back and those wayfarers on, baby. And I can tell you my love for you will still be strong after the boys of summer have gone. It's fair to note here that in the 1980s, Ray-Ban's Wayfarer sunglasses were enjoying a renewed time in the limelight. Long a symbol of rebellious cool, going back to when James Dean favored them in the 50s, they were back in the public consciousness with movies like The Blues Brothers and Risky Business, and they were forever immortalized in this song as the sunglasses of choice for the girl who got away. When the Boys of Summer was released in October of 1984 as the lead single on the Building the Perfect Beast album, it went to #1 on the Billboard Rock Chart. It won a Grammy Award for Best Male Rock Vocal Performance and several MTV Video Music Awards that year, and the album went 3 times platinum. Did Tom Petty regret passing on this song? By all accounts, yes. And he was reportedly surprised by its success. By the time it was recorded for Henley's album, the key had been changed for Henley to sing to it, and it was different than what Mike Campbell had first played for him. But he said later that he liked listening to it. And maybe some songs find their own way to the singers who are supposed to sing them. There's something about the storyline of this particular song, with Tom Petty passing on it and Don Henley picking it up and writing the lyrics for it, that just fits. It is, after all, about remembering a past that you can't change. And maybe the girl in this song would never return, but would always flicker in the back of the narrator's mind in the years that follow, every time the end of summer draws near, with the beaches empty and everyone, including the narrator and the boys of summer, grown up and gone. The clinging nostalgia of those times in our lives, those people and those summers, stay permanent with us, as Bob Seger so perfectly encapsulated in his song Night Moves, and as Don Henley did with the Boys of Summer. Dylan Thomas wrote, I see the boys of summer in their ruin. And Robert Frost wrote, nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. And every time we see a Deadhead sticker on a Cadillac, thanks to Don Henley, we know that summer's gold may fade, but the memories will always remain. I'm Janda, and this has been Behind the Song. Special thanks to Christian Lane for the music you hear on this podcast. Subscribe to the Behind the Song podcast on YouTube and watch the video episodes, and you can follow Behind the Song podcast on TikTok. On the way, episodes about lyrics from Bad Company and more classic rock and roll. It seems like everyone I talk to is taking advantage of low mortgage rates these days, and for good reason. Rates are near the lowest they've been in decades, and our friends at DuPage Credit Union want to help you make the most of this market. So whether you're a first-time home buyer, you're looking to refinance, or you want to renovate your home, DuPage Credit Union's award-winning team will be there every step of the way, from application to closing. Plus, home buyers can qualify for $300 off their first month's mortgage payment by completing a free home loan consultation. Take advantage of DuPage Credit Union's low rates today. To schedule a free consultation or to apply, call 800-323-2611 or visit DuPageCU.com. That's DuPageCU.com. DuPage Credit Union is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 445096. By Members' Choice, this financial institution is not federally insured. Members' deposits are privately insured up to $250,000 per account through American Share Insurance. DuPage Credit Union. Banking inspired.